Everyone, Sarah here. Today I'm going to make a card using my favorite thing sketch 486 and creating some dies using my Cricut Maker. So this is the image I'll be using today. I did purchase this one and I printed it out just to show you what it looked like. I then use a software on my computer to convert them into cutting files, and then I cut them out with my Cricut machine. It's one of my favorite things to do. I do love making my own layered dies. And as you can see in this one, has a lot of small, intricate little pieces, a lot of little dots. But I'm not going to use them all. I realize I won't follow the sketch exactly because I like to just modify it a little bit myself. So the glue that I'm using is from from Simon Says Stamps. It was part of their March 2020 card kit, and it's pretty thick and it comes out pretty fine, so it worked perfectly for these dies. And all I need to do is just use a piece of scrap cardstock just to kind of remove any glue that seeps out, just to make sure that I don't have any residue showing. I think it dries clear, but still I just try not to. And it's pretty easy. You just take the corner of a cardstock and you can just scrape it right off. I'm going to follow this alligator pretty closely. I'm just going to not use as many of those brown dots as possible. But it's fairly simple. As long as you have a little jewel picker. I did try using tweezers, as you saw earlier, but it just didn't work very well. But if you use the jewel picker, picking up these little pieces is it's actually very nice. It's very easy to use. And so I'm just going to add the little eyes, and then I will take some more glue and I'll just dab it around. Like I said, I'm not going to do all the little circles. I'm just going to just sporadically just add it and use some of the big circles and some of the tiny little circles. And those tiny little circles, they are very small. I was actually shocked that the Cricut Maker actually cut them so small without flipping around. So there is my little alligator. I think I'm going to add one more little circle somewhere. Just trying to figure out where it is. Nope. A little too much glue there. I'll just add a little bit more glue. This glue was kind of what was happening. It kept pouring out. Anytime I put it down, I think there was a clog in an air bubble or something, and it just kept bubbling up. Okay, there's my alligator. I did actually create a lion and a tree as well, but I cut it out of this video just to make this video shorter. So next I am going to make the sign, and for me I find that if I make these images, I kind of I like to layer it just because then I know exactly where to place it. Like I could have cut that image, that signpost down so that it was just the posts, and then glue the post back on the back of the sign. But when you leave the background there, it's actually easy, really easy. It's just the same as the bushes. It's very easy to know exactly where to place them when it's time to put them back down. What I did do off camera, mainly because I realized I had done it not even underneath the camera, was I took some vintage photo and I went around all the little bushes, and I will also do that at the end to go around the whole sign. I realized afterwards that the whole time I was actually off camera doing it, so I need to figure out how to set up my desk again to make sure that I don't go off camera. But you can see a little bit of it shadowing around the bushes, and that's just to give it a little bit of just a separation between each little bush. And then you'll see soon, there it is. So you can see around the sign it's a little bit dark as well. Okay, so now onto the card. What I did was I already cut out a piece of white cardstock at the top and a piece of Doodlebug. It's like a wood grain piece for the bottom. And I've also cut out, it's a lace border that was from Doodlebug's lace border set, and then I cut that out of the same color as the sign. The blue piece, which I cut out with one of my square dies, is also part of the Doodlebug Rainbow Collection, and it's just a bunch of different rainbow designs. So there's chevrons and wood grains and grids and such. Next, I am going to bring out my inks again. I'm going to bring out Broken China and Vintage Photo. And what I want to do is take the Vintage Photo and I'm going to just highlight all the little pieces, the lace and the wood grain. And the reason I'm doing this is because I had already done it for the sign. So I just want to keep it a little bit uniform in the sense of giving it that little brown edge. For the white square at the top, what I'm going to do is create kind of a bluey, cloudy sky. And I'm not going to use my stencil to do this, mainly because I don't know where it is. But this way, I'm just going to go very lightly over it, and it kind of creates not a solid blue, but it has that wispy white in it. So it creates kind of like a very pale, cloudy, blotchy sky. And that looks pretty good. And the reason I want to do this is because I just didn't want so much white to be shown. And I'm trying to create somewhat of a scene where the crocodile is going to be sitting in. So what I did was actually, I don't have a die that would create that border easily. So what I did was I took my my Lacy border, the same one that I used in that yellow piece, and I just flipped it upside down so that I would just get that border. So I ran that through my Spellbinders die cut, and then I just had to line up just perfectly to get a straight edge. I took that Vintage Photo and I went around that blue square that the crocodile is going to sit on. And then I'm just going to trim down the Lacy border and set it so that it goes across the whole card, which is going to be a 4.5 inch border. Okay, next I'm going to take some sentiments that I got from the March 2020 card kit for Simon Says, and it says celebrate your big day. It just happened that this fits perfectly in that little sign that I created. And I'm going to use the VersaFine Clear ink because it's just perfect for creating fine detail ink. The only thing is with this one, not with the ink, but the stamp, it's squishy. So you can see that I kind of press a little too hard, and it kind of smushed it on the left side of it. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. It's still legible, and I'm going to move forward. Next, I'm going to just trim the top, the cloudy top. I don't have a pencil, so I'm using a pen. Don't do that, just in case you decided you marked it wrong. But I'm just trimming it down because I don't want to create too much of a layer. I don't want it overlapping. Now I'm just positioning. And I'm sorry right now once again, I'm off camera for a good portion of this. You're not going to see most of this. So I actually had to cut out a lot of the video because I was off camera. I really need to figure out my camera when I'm recording. So I did glue that down and I trimmed it off, the blue square. And what I'm doing now is I'm taking some peel off stickers from LoveFromLizi. And these are a pale blue pinstripe. And I'm just going to create a very thin border around that blue square. And I'm going to overlap to create a cross on each line. The excess, I just hang over the edge. And the reason I do that is because if it starts to lift, it won't lift, I should say, because it is behind the card. And that just creates a fine little detail on the card. Okay. And now I'm just going to position that. Once again, I am off camera. I'm very sorry about that. I'll try to fix that for my next video. I'm going to glue this down on the top, just leaving, I believe, a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch border. I didn't actually measure it, I just cut it. So I believe that's a 1/16 of an inch, but I could be wrong. Okay, so I glued the wood grain bottom to the bottom, and then I'm taking the lace border and I'm going to glue that right in the center, just a little bit above the border, or the wood grain, and that creates my separation. So you could use anything to create that, but because I'm trying to follow the sketch, that's why I used the border. And now I'm just going to take some of these foam stickers and I'm going to just prop up the alligator so that it just creates a little more dimension. And I'm going to do the exact same thing for the sign, and I'm going to place it down in the right corner. I am just going to play around to see where I want to place it, but I will put it down in the left corner. I will tell you right now that this video actually took me an hour to create, but I trimmed out most of it because a lot of it, as you see, was me just playing around trying to find out what I want to do. I used many different props and papers, and I just kept playing with it to see what I liked. So I condensed that hour into, looks like over 12 minutes. And that's not abnormal. It does take me a long time to come up with a card design, just because I have limited supplies, and I'm learning. Let's just put it, but it's I'm just learning and just having fun as I go along. I did buy some new cardstock. I don't remember the name, but it is 120 pound, and I absolutely love it. It is much thicker than the Staples brand paper that I was using. And that's our card for today. I find that it's a lot of fun to create die cuts using your Cricut Maker, and it's not too difficult to find images that can easily be converted into a cut file. Not saying that you have to. You can definitely just purchase your own cut files. There's lots of them out there. Thank you for watching, and I do hope that it has inspired you to create some of your own cards, and I will talk to you later. Take care.